I know you can see me, so we're good now. It just takes a second here. When you're running this when you're running this on your own, and let me make sure you can hear me. So, yep. All right, we're good. We're good. That's how we test things, right? So those of you just joining us, it's 10:52 on a Saturday. So me and my man Eric are all the way back there. So we're keeping you posted. What we're going to do is talk about this tornado watch until 4 a.m. Now, it includes St. Louis City, and I'm going to zoom into some of these spots that it includes a little bit more so you can see what's going on, because we have a tornado watch. And last time I talked to you guys, if you follow along, we said, hey, this doesn't look like it's going to be severe into the overnight hours. But what we're dealing with here is the fact that we have some severe weather here off to the west, and it is a wide area that's starting to settle in. And what I want to focus in here is this area from Columbia into Jefferson City, and it's this line right here specifically. This area right here is where we're monitoring the leading edge for some of these storms. Watch how they're rotating and continuing to get a little bit stronger. And of course, we'll put a different set of products on this for you, but I want to look at how this is indeed rotating. And this is an area near Tipton, California. Watch how we have some of these leading edge circulations. And that's what I want to point out here, because as we have those leading edge circulations, that's what we're dealing with when it comes to the possibility for rotation. So as we continue to monitor that, that's what I want to look at, because we're kind of chatting with some of our emergency management partners in central Missouri and the National Weather Service, and that's what we're looking at when it comes to the potential for active severe weather into the rest of the night. So as we look at some of these things, that's what I want to point out, is we still have many areas along the leading edge of this storm where you're still seeing the leading edge rotate just a little bit from Tipton here, also into Moberly. And watch how as we get a little bit closer, I want to change this to a different product here where you can see things start to at least spin just a little bit. And this is kind of gives us, this is where we see that toward and away from the radar when it comes to the wind. And I'm going to change this color table just a little bit for you here. And this is where we're starting to see the leading edge rotation there, specifically along the leading edge of that tornado watch, tornado warning right here. And this is a totally different radar here. As you can see, it bounce back and forth. That is where we're seeing that little brief weak spin up tornado right now. And that's what we're monitoring. The leading edge of all these storms have some sort of just little bit of rotation on the leading edge of them. And that's what we're monitoring here. And it's right along from Columbia all the way to Herman. This is why we have this tornado watch in place until 4 a.m. So once again, it's really the fact that we have more of this low-level forcing that's kind of settled in. And that's what we're monitoring, because as we see that potential for rotating storms, look at all these areas that are under this tornado watch until 4 a.m. now. This is St. Louis City. This is Washington. This is Franklin County. This is Troy, Jerseyville, Jersey County, of course, Gasconade. It's that line of storms, as it works its way off to the east, has the potential for rotating storms along the leading edge of it. And we really see that here from this line of storms from Fayette all the way to Columbia. And that's what we're looking at here. So as we continue to monitor things, that's what we're going to be looking at here, is the leading edge of that. So what I want to focus on here and look at I want to look at some of your comments online to see what's going on, what you guys are worried about. I'm going to turn this down here. Tyrone's making a good point. Stay safe, everyone. Make sure you charge your phone in case of power outages. Same thing. Lincoln County, Troy, Missouri, Travis, you are under that tornado watch. And I think it's very possible as we watch the leading edge, and where I think the strongest, and I'm going to put, they switch one of the cameras around for me, but as I look from Moberly all the way to here, it's that leading edge here, right about here where I'm drawing that line. That's where we need to worry about perhaps some leading edge rotating storms. St. Francis County, John, I see you right now, and I appreciate the comment. I don't think that we're going to be dealing with that in St. Francis County. The only reason that we're starting to see this rotate just a little bit in Montgomery County, I think it is very possible. The reason we're starting to see this is because something called, we start to see things at night where you start to see more of an influx of moisture, and you can, and I can actually see it just a little bit on the radar specifically, and I want to point this out. Look at how the radar, especially over the last hour or so, is starting to come out of the south and really feeding in that influx of moisture. And I think it's probably more prevalent when we look at some of the showers here in Carrollton, Litchfield. That is what is known as a low-level jet, and it's really started to increase here. And so when we see this leading edge line where from California, watch some of these leading edge areas, these little notches here. If you'll recall when we had those 9 tornadoes, watch these little notches here. That's what we're looking at tonight. These are not long track tornadoes, but because they're at night, Weldon Spring will be in the path, Cindy, in terms of the potential for tornadoes. Once again, let me recap this. The tornado watch is in place through now through 4 a.m. So I'm going to be here with you, so don't worry about that. And I'll probably pop on TV here occasionally, and of course, when we get that going. But I've noticed that Saturday Night Live is a rerun. I know it's, it's important, but you guys can tape that. St. Louis County, Amanda is involved in that as well. And Amanda says it's cold outside. It's 74, so there are other factors in play. That's why we talk about some of these times where, yes, when it's sunny and it's unstable, but not all the time do we deal with that. So I think the timing, Kristen, would be somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning in St. Louis Metro. I can't predict anyone that's going to get a tornado warning specifically, but what I can tell you is we monitor this line of storms. That's what we're looking at. It's this wide area of storms that continues to race off to the east, and it's honestly not moving all that quickly, but from those in Gasconade County, that would be an area that I'd look at first here as we kind of continue to monitor things. So that's what we're looking at here right now. So as we continue to look at what's going on with that leading edge circulation, that's the one spot here that we're looking at that has any sort of rotation. And it doesn't mean that areas to the north won't be able to see that as well, but it's really, really anywhere north of Osage Beach that I'm going to draw this line on here. It's right about here. It's this leading edge line right about here and right about from Moberly probably to Bowling Green. It would be right about there. That kind of lines up with where we're looking at when it comes to the watches anyway. So there's no guarantee that any of those are going to develop, but it's something that we're monitoring here because as that line continues to interact with that low-level jet that I mentioned and has the leading edge where some of those storms are rotating, that's where the possibility could impact St. Charles County. I would say that's probably about 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock in the morning. So Matt says, can I explain the difference between a watch and a warning? Sure. A watch would be right here as we look once again for everybody joining us is not privy to what's going on. A watch would be conditions are favorable for a tornado to develop. Doesn't mean that it will. This goes through 4 a.m. And then of course you see the red there. That is a tornado warning. And I'll show you the polygon of those areas that's out of our area. That means that the radar has either indicated a tornado is possible or one has been spotted. So that's what we talk about and what we look at here. So we have storm spotters, we have people like you that tell us whether or not something's going on, and people are trained for that. Of course, law enforcement and emergency managers get in touch, but once again, you can see some of these little notches here, right here. That's what we're looking at, and the closer that it gets to us and crosses the river at some point closer to the capital, that's what we're going to look at. So whether or not that works its way into Herman, Gerald, those are areas that we're probably monitoring for this storm, and it's really shown no signs of weakening in its current state. That doesn't mean that Forestel may see a tornado warning in that area. I can't predict tornado warnings. I truthfully can't. But what I can tell you is where this line of storms is settling in and the way that it's kind of working its way in, it's not out of the question. I know Forestel is an area I drive through pretty regularly going back and forth on I-70. So, Misty makes a good point. Other than a possible tornado, what are we looking at? Hail or flooding? I don't see much hail with this system. but it isn't out of the question that we'll get some brief, really heavy rain, and then we're going to add to rain on top of that. This is not really moving very quickly. So this is along 70, St. Charles County. Hail, is that a concern? Sarah was asking, I don't see much hail with this. This is brief, weak tornado, if anything. That's the trend that we're looking at for tonight. These are not these supercell thunderstorms, which continue to rise up quite a bit. This is an area where we see that possibility. And I want to show you just how quickly this is moving, because it really isn't moving all that quickly. So just from a radar standpoint, this is only moving at about 35 miles an hour, right? So, but it's moving as such where, you know, it's just not, it's kind of moving along itself where, you know, it's all one big complex. So it's moving slowly this direction, right? So if we're going to go from Holt Summit all the way to Skinner, Columbia, I mean, you're taking that till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, it's one of those things that we continue to monitor here as I'm looking at some of the things on the crawl. But anyway, what we continue to monitor here is this line of storms. And I'll put this on for you. This line of storms continues to be an issue for us here over the next 2 to 3 hours. Let me get back on the chat here because I'm a one-man show. I got my man Eric running things in the back, but I'm zooming in and we're kind of prepared to go in and keep you posted here. Let's see. What would help the storm to lose strength moving east? Is Baldwin in the line of the storm? Right now, what would help would be if we had more rain early. Typically, we start to see, you know, there are less than favorable conditions for this because it was more favorable to the west. That's why we had that line of storms. But, you know, it's one of those things that if we had a little bit more rain early and this runs into a less than favorable environment where it did rain hard early, I think things would weaken. What we've seen is this low-level jet that has started to strengthen is not only adding moisture, but a different wind component. So there's a little bit of a twisting on the leading edge of this. So that's what we're kind of looking at here. And I'm not seeing a ton of weakening. And this is something that we looked at earlier. And, you know, oftentimes we rely on computer models for these types of situations and look at some of these things, but I'll tell you what, some storms kind of either have a mind of their own or continue to strengthen, and that's kind of been the case to some degree, and I don't think it's going to get any worse, but it's this specific area from Hannibal all the way to Columbia and Jeff City that we still have to look at. And I'll switch this back to the other radar product, but look at this storm in Tipton here, and just as I kind of looped this the last 2 hours or so, you're able to see where this specific storm continues to have these little notches on the leading edge of it. And that's why you have that potential tornado. And let me check in once again with our emergency managers here as we continue to see a few things. The National Weather Service and all the EMS partners in central Missouri are taking a look at this as well. Try to give us a better idea of what the storm is doing if they see anything. But right now, in terms of weakening, I just don't see much weakening from Columbia all the way to Eldon or Versailles, and you know that's when it comes to Warrenton, when it comes to Herman, when it comes to Gerald. You know, I know Montgomery City is technically out of our area, but you know it's those areas that we look at, I think, that are going to be impacted first. So you know, as we kind of look ahead with you guys, and I know some of you guys are hanging up with us, I'm going to continue to monitor this trend. Matt just asked a good question. Is there any possibility for the southern end of things to continue to strengthen? You know, at this point, look at how all these storms are kind of riding the same area, right? I think, you know, they're continuing to hold together. But one thing that is important is this gust front is on the leading edge of things. So that should be cooling things down a little bit. So these are the things we look at in real time closer to Osage Beach. So typically that should be a little cooler, but I really would like to monitor this area. And I think that while you're not under a tornado watch to the south per se, like Rolla, Steelville, Potosi, it's something that we're going to look at. So that's what the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center will monitor. But I think the main threat right now is probably from Columbia to Ashland, Jeff City. It's this leading edge right here. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor here, the back edge of things. This to me looks like at some point it's going to weaken and trend a little further south and turn into more of a flash flooding threat. That doesn't look like it is a rotational threat to me, but when you look at the significant heavy rain that's trending over the same location, that's why we have significant rain in those areas. But it's this little area right there that is involved in that tornado warning. And let's see when this one goes specifically so that we know when they're maybe going to extend it further. So that one goes to 11:30. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues or if there's any weakening when it comes to rotation, or they'll turn it into a severe thunderstorm warning with a potential for rotation. But overall, it's really 44 north. And I'll draw this again, at least in the interim. I think that anywhere from here to right about St. Louis City, from Moberly to probably Bowling Green. And if we're going to start just doing rough ETAs, this is going to be 12 right here. This is not a very good 12. We're going to do somewhere around 1 and maybe 2 here. So that, I know this is a very rough estimate, but this is kind of where I think this is moving here at its current pace. So that's the main thing from this entire system here as we continue to monitor this tornado watch. Once again, I'm going to take that off. This tornado watch, I'm going to go through a few of these spots here that are involved in this tornado watch. And it is really St. Louis City northward, Jefferson County, St. Louis County, or not Jefferson County, I'm sorry, Franklin County, St. Louis County, South County, South City, all the way to the north, Airport, O'Fallon, Missouri, Wentzville, Troy, Jersey County, Macoupin County, really areas to the north. You're talking about Montgomery County. You're talking about Montgomery County on both sides, right? So I think Montgomery County would be the first spot that would be impacted by this. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor here. I don't have a lot more to update you on right now when it comes to anything imminent. I'll jump back in. A weather radio is definitely a great option. I'm going to try to ping you guys as much as I can. I can tell you right now that I'll probably jump on air here in a little bit and talk about it, but I really will probably monitor it just to kind of give you an update here. I'll think about doing it maybe at 11:15 and see where we are from there, maybe 11:30, and kind of see what it comes with the tornado watch that's in place. But like I said, it's this specific storm system here from Columbia to Jeff City, as the leading edge of this has the potential to rotate on the leading edge there. So really, like I mentioned, it's anywhere from Gasconade all the way up to Warren County, those areas that we're monitoring for the leading edge of any rotation. So I think it's probably till midnight that we may get on with you, but I'm on right here. I'm gonna pop on just a little bit longer later on, but I'm gonna end this for now. Once again, this tornado warning in place, or tornado watch in place. There's a tornado warning in central Missouri, south of Columbia. We'll see where the next one goes, how the storm system continues to evolve. But I'm going to get off.